Inside Story Uganda. Real source of political update.
Mzee je baliko sebo.
Kale sebo.
Bitambula biti.
Birungi. Nabaga nti akatoko bwe katokota. Tekagoba mukazi mufumbi. Zibyonna nzimbi babuulira. Nabagamba nti nze nategeera nti olanya afudde. Okutandika okulwanyisa amonti. Kubanga mukimutamanyi. Nabagamba nti nope ne lwabwogo bali omuntu omu. Gurupu etayagala muhoozi yekulira lwabwogo. Lwabwogo cannot accept the muhoozi government. Why? Yagamba nti muhoozi is not capable. Ekyokubiri, muhoozi si member wa mafia group egita fellowship. But Museveni cannot allow lwabwogo to take a power. Kuba tamuwa kitiibwa. Yakamuteeka under house arrest several times. Kakati lwabwogo ye yalowooza nti ejja kufuna obuyinza suuyiza mother-in-law. Kikitasoboka. Museveni has seen bano bonna ba Dos Santos baani. The only person is like in Kenya. The super guru that bound Uhuru and Ruto was that it was only they who would not take themselves to head. Museveni will hand over power to somebody who can protect his future. Lwabwogo is disqualified.
But Mzee, you talk about Museveni as if it is him to decide who becomes the next president.
Let me tell you. We have two scenarios in politics. Where the president has lost power, where Museveni is very popular in Uganda. Contrary to what people think. Museveni abantu bamwagala. Ate kati kyaliko to popularize himself. Kakati tunuulira baaladdisi balonze. Ono gundi Uhudu amugye wano abatatabula Kampala. Naye mulimu ba popular. Kati mbadde mbagamba ti omwana wa Ajat we Masaka Boulevard yaleba nga balwabwogo group basimbyewo mbidde nani
Nempuga.
She bought a gomez for herself and filled the vacuum. Thinking that NRM had no choice. He's the candidate. What has happened? Umuwala Museveni amwala. Working if Museveni in his reshuffle appoints ono gundi omukyalo ono wekayunga. Endulu zivuga nantaba.
Serious?
Yes. Era Museveni ekayunga atutte yani Sereko Mutumba. Kambabulire mutemenye Sereko Mutumba. Sereko Mutumba yali wa UPN. Ngendo genda mbuyekera. Sereko Mutumba nga mumanyi kontakiti waba yekera. Museveni is bringing back abantu bebe yakola nabo. Beba nannyini kintu.
Aleba namuyamba kinga abali close government beba jonona.
Nedda
abali mu go wandika katabo inside the palace.
Mere yolumbe tubagirese okiri. Sereko Mutumba bali bagenda okubeka kiri. Nage twa yansimagolinga. Sereko Mutumba mubuzi. When another was going to attack Kakiri. Namusanga natete. Ngakontakiti yange mumbulidde. Sereko Mutumba. Bamukuba basajja balaba namu bakolufula. Basajja balaba nga tebajoga bantu. Accumulation of money.
Naye ni yakozesa basajja balaba.
Museveni akwate tumwebaza amugobe. Alabe endulu ebezifu. Museveni akwate mukoddomi we lwabwogo.
Mulishapedako.
Bamukomera. Amuyise mu kibuga. Alabe endulu bezifu. Museveni agobe nankabirwa. Alabe endulu bezifu. I'm telling you.
Abe bakyayibwe nnyo.
Yes, they are hated. Bali bagala muwamba. Nange nga banneregamu. Kakati let me tell you. That's one. Era nabakubira akatambi. Nti bali bagamba galwabwogo agamba. Nti baladdisi bonna bamuhooza.
Nemzei wangamba tokkiriza kujogebwa. Mwala wa Boulevard yegulira ne Gomez.
Yes.
Lwaki bamu appointinga.
Not me.
Chikubisa enduru.
Lwabwogo toyinza kunjogana, lwabwogo tasobola kunjogana mulabako nga inenga tuyalumwa. He's a great man. Tumwebaze nganoka, tumwebaze kali kanu kolumu. Kabbi n'akasuma nekatukanga amazi. Bwebwe babafunana kutta bantu. Tumwebaze bamufunana kutta bantu. Lwabwogo bamufunana ali indicted. abo beba Jose Museveni baina media kakati kuno kulonda kwa speaker okuliwo we are lucky why the Lwabongo group does not have money. Museveni abalemesezi
wagamba they are extremely rich. You said they are filthy rich.
Babadde bakimya 5 billion nga bazije Tanzania mu batunda organize Kalisa nalowooza ndi musiru. Kalisa's brother negotiated the deal of 5 billion bwanteke mu NPS nagende wa Balamu neyekweka mukabira kirabo nengena benyondo mutte nengere kuba Kalisa mutte Kalisa nga takimanyi yamwawea have recordings nga Muganda wali Tanzania negotiating a deal tibampe sente Kalisa nga roza ndi musiru ntinze ngende wampa omulimu bali ne Lwabongo wapi nengere ba mwaso mutu mubuze Balamu. These people believe ntinze wali wanjoka Balamu akola bibye nange nkola byange waliwo n'omukyala yagamba ngenda kuwanga fa ngenda mutegeera ngo awunyo Lwabongo ati Lwabongo kitegeeza Lwabolo abanyankole balina erinnya Lwabolo nti oyo mwavu nnyo Lwabolo nti Lwabolo
oba kyava afuna akasente abanonyinya akasente
n'abajogani kirumi bakukube bamutwogo bampale bagikujumu bakuba obujozi obwo
oyina essuubi mbala DC Museveni bawa.
Yes, no, unless Museveni addresses their issue okujjamu stocks n'osigaza ekigere nga kiwunya era tujjawo kivundu
kituufu.
The problem is that the ministry in charge of the president does not give other DCs money. In fact, other DCs okuva ku tumwebaze yali mubbi tumwebaze kasajja kabbi n'akasuma nekanuka obusuma nekanuka obutemu ampabire mukube akasajja ako kassa abantu kekalina emulago buli wakagenda nkanukisanga amazzi nkanukisanga amazzi kakati nkubuuli unless Museveni funds RDCs
through the president's office.
Yes, babawe sente RDC yalifunye obukadde. Why should Museveni give his senior advisors 40 million per month ne post offices? Workers who are RDC. These ones are rejected. These are rejects. Barukahana Lugunda. Abo bonna abavudde bwa.
But what is the role of an advisor?
Ashenkubuulira ye Museveni abatya tibajja kukola gavumenti tibajja genda ewalala naddira abamukolera ntize mutani wa Mirundi with a master's degree can I be an advisor like 1.7 swere mpunu he was humiliating me that I work for 1.7 nti can Museveni put me in a group of people who never went to school nti ndine ono musajja yani omulema
Buchama.
Nekusasira, nswere mpunu. I cannot go there. Full figure. Then why? I will stop educating my children to university. Bali, abatayina mugasa abawasente. That is Museveni. Kubanga alowooza nti bo bajja kuduka balugunda bani bawasente. Politics is not status. Politics is mobilization.
I see.
How many supports
do you bring?
Me, I cannot even be a minister. I cannot be a minister in Museveni's government unless he tackles this subterfuge.
So, however much he makes reshuffles, they will not have a meaning.
Unless he looks at the problems of other DCs. The problem of other DC, there are two. One, the constitution, the framers of the constitution say, according to the constitution, another DC shall be a senior retired civil servant. They had in mind different people. If you want Museveni change this, most of these people don't have qualifications. Why? Political mobilization does not mean academic papers.
Of course.
But you cannot lump me to so la kumpa bwa advisor. Ngandine kusasira. Nde buchamani. Bana somera bwere.
I see.
Toyinza kunjoka kuntusa. Ngende wafe musaba nenkola. Nengo I will never be an advisor.
I see.
I will never be an advisor. I will never be a minister in Museveni's government.
But you said it does not require academic papers.
To be an advisor, to be a minister in Museveni, I would be humiliated by Ruawogo and take command of his Ngolugosi. By Jakunjo or Gankolichi. Marita Munaja Twaliwo. We were here. My family has been having money from time immemorial.
I see.
Ruawogo Tanja Kunjoga, Ruawogunga Jogan.
Someone from your village told me you were a landlord. You were a serious landlord.
Pereka kazi, pereka gari yako, pereka gari yako kwa state house. Akamatoka kengulira mu amafuta, ebyotoka. That's abaganda bakiyita gundi bukopi. Akamatoka doesn't have a salary, which is salary. Mukuze bizimbe ku salary. Mumutuko mwe bizimbe bye mukuze. Ya salary. Mukuze mu bacon is a salary.
Basevingawa.
Ebintu bimbulira ebintu ebinjoga mu maze emyaka 8 ngamba ba kuba nina sente zange
kambuze muze ekifo ky'obwala DC bwe bakikuwa kikozesa otya ekyo kimanyi tojja kitwala naye I wish you, if you are not a DC, how would you perform?
Kati ennaku zino mu baala DC n'emmotoka tezikyaliko ndi Masaka buli omu gy'asanga yagikanika babbi Museveni should elevate, should give these people adequate salaries.
I see.
Million 10. Ala this afuna million 10. Ala this tenda kufuna million 2.
Nizi nava.
Abba, weziri bazimubako.
I see.
Bazimubako. Bazimubako. Sako ya amaje againe mundu n'emizinga. Tebajibba. Eya police bajibba. That is Museveni.
I see.
Museveni handles the lion and the dog he fails to hand the dog.
I see.
Namutunuli emyaka 10 ngalowooza nti nze ndi mwangu mukoddomi wanteeka mumanta goyo ng'olugosi nswere empundu tasobola kunjooka tayinza kunjooka ne babuuzako ndi awo nasimanyi ono omulala looya naga nti etalimu mugaso sente zange ne bazigabana ndi mulabako kalugire ng'adduka tulijja balabako nga mudduka mujowabi consecrated the house on the sun nakono kakiwanuka bwe bujooga abantu nzinze nje lwaboga njoge anteke mwanda we anzitalabe ebere maggot is paid for omutoko
kiwanuka atonejeno
ayineki bamutwalira gundi ono mukasa mululu
amateeka
kabadde katawanyo abantu bakabatawanya kaki ako beba mutse abakoba lowooza nti nibajja kufuga muliki kani yena muko address erale mwe muyina okuvayo mwe kujoga bijoze bantu nedda kalugirani amumanyi Let Kalugera address Erale. Let this one, who is arrogant, address Erale.
Kiriowa.
Cosmetics help beautiful ladies.
I see.
Can they with their massive weddings? Are you more important than Saddam Zibako? Mulikuwa mutujoge mutunie kumitwe mutunyaleko. Yagamba Kalugere, oitamuwa same. Omusango tewakusinga. I will make sure that you lose the case. Totally. Don't against innocent mbwe. Abako mfuke mbwaya kubona ayagala konteka we had money before you. We benefited from Kanana. My grandfather had land, square mile of land. My father left 720 acres of land.
I see.
Tabayinza kunjoga abo balwabo.
Tabasobola kutandika
tabasobola kunjoga ngojoga mutano wa Mirundi.
Nemze Museveni reshuffle zine zebwala DC.
Ngogambi
azikola
ngogambi
Those azikoze kutereza.
No, this is political. But has he addressed why the other people failed to deliver?
No.
Nti normal circumstances, an educated man, nzinyiza okukkiriza. Singa tantaddeyo mu category yabo ya advisor. It is going to be expunged from my records. I cannot share a city appointment n'abataso. You are humiliating me. Bali was a senior sin. You humiliate me. You cannot humiliate Mirundi's son. Tasobola twaina sente kati. Twaina sente ne family yote nabana sente. We are not going. Kakati nkugamba Museveni bino yakola. Nibo kule motoka embyeta liko taya. Nibo kule motoka nga tiliko fuel. Twaina sente za fuel. Erimirawo. Omukazi mbwaganka ngende kuweko. Nga sente sonte za luje emisana. Onemba bakira kwa munsi. Unless Museveni addresses the issue of all disease. Facilitate them.
I see.
They must be respected. Ne nti RDC taina sente. The duty, the cardinal duty of all disease is to ensure stop land evictions.
Exactly.
kyali kasese ne kibeta kali ange kine kyemasaka ne kibengene dikijjako bajja baba kyaso baba kitte bwe nagenda yo ne kikona ive nga mukinsibe gunoli kusegwe kibadde kasese ekibbi ekibba masaka ekibyenyi kyabbe masaka ne kibba ne kibba buli wamu unless Museveni facilitates the other disease is wasting time.
I see.
Removing, if your feet stink and you remove the stalks,
now
wasting time.
Now mzee, kakati
tebayina moto.
Lwaki ba RDC basinga okwenyigira mu bibbata?
Anti tebayina sente. Libulira RDC, Resident District Commissioner. Did you see?
Is a presidential representative.
Did you see District Commissioner in the 60s stealing people's property?
No.
Ganuka obusuma gonaganuka obusuma.
Olwone yali yita president we Masaka.
Unless you sort of kyabeta ati kyali kiroza mbuki nalijja kutabu kibbi nnyo nenyina wakyo yafaze byamaaso kisuma ekyo ekibadde kasese kisuma kyabeta lyange nje dikijjako ngenda kukikujjako kyazimbako ennyumba tayinza kumpagula gwe kisajja gwe ettaka nja kulitwala paka alibeera mu nja mutta bajja mutta abaana bange.
It seems bajja ne special instructions okwenyigira mu nsonga z'ettaka.
Waliwo akaserunjeje bakatwala kayunga ne kabita ogambye nti RDC bamwine nadde Masaka kati omanyi lwaki bali visinze ekya site every site balinamu ebizimbe byabwe kati banika akajijo akanukwanga amazi akanukwanga kabadde katta abantu kabadde kabbi buli kibuga babadde bayinamu bamamwine nenanyini nsi obayinza okufuga eggwanga mulivuka bule mutteyo omuntu abeetegekera ddi olabewe badduka nakanaakalina olutwe bwe kadduka tokawulyanga kwogera muteefu kasajja gweyogera kajja kuddukira Tanzania bali bakwatirawa kuli byatafulumi kabusenga lwanira ekibanja waabwe na Muganda ayi Mukama otenderezebwe Katonda w'eggulu ayi Mukama otenderezebwe nga Nakalema ali luddawa
yafuluma
abusentisa kati tusobeni nalweyiso mubanja okaba nanto abananalweyiso nalweyiso nayinja mufu
ne wangamba wamusonyiwa
toba nanalweyiso
mabegali wangamba nti wamuvaako
kibakoze myako
bamukozesa bukozi
omukombwa ampite tuteese ampite ekyankwanza I was going to blow up myself.
Nakalema yafuluma Kabushenga yafuluma
mulizoyo kitebe kyabwe ekyobujo gatuukeyo nti njabise ampita ngananda
kati kulu byafuluma
yefu Museveni wants to see dead body mukodomi atuyite ne mukodomi mbasitinge omulenzi oyo n'obugaalo bindibwe ajoga bantu kankusomera akatabo kakumalireyo today is not Lwabogo fought to Kadaga gave this woman Nankabirwa money they take a sat to mwebaze Ogwanga Nankabirwa and she won. They had another meeting at Munyonyo. Lwabogo, I have him on a video, boss video. Nabasubize million chikumba munje koti yazibaho. Kakati today Lwabogo taina sent. Nankabirwa taina sent. Museveni has effectively sabotaged their money. That's why they are going to go. Lwabogo taina chajakula wanu. Sipai gundi yange tajisobola. Network. Mba.
Sade zaliza kuba kada.
Is weakest. Yes. Kakati today.
Nemze tukyebuuza ani yaleta omutwe ewakada.
Olire mbamanyi. I know them.
Ani yaleta omutwe omwana. N'omusango tegutambula.
Tulibala bakonga. Ali kabanga lyekikanga batiko ati ngembuze nnume. Tujja bala bakabanga liga bakikanga batiko. Gembuze nnume.
Kulira.
Anti bakoze ensubi balumba Museveni ne muhozi. Nze ndi ku muhozi. Tujja kumulaba koneka rubindi ngali kumpinga kikanga batiko ngembuze nnume ngembu. Yapanga ku bantu bamukube.
Oloza mzeiru lwaki kada.
Omanyi twatandise ekibiina ky'empunu. Empunu oye, empunu jju. Empunu oye, empunu jju. Bakola Lwabogo empunu emukube. Empunu emukube. The most popular person in Uganda is Lwabogo.
Seriously.
Muwandikidde akatabo kano mu encouraging muntu. empunu oye empunu juu empunu oye empunu juu empunu oye empunu juu ngenda kuwa t-shirt z'empunu
abempunu pati
twakuzikiri twagala tumube empunu emukube ekigo kigende mu likodi nti empunu yakubalwa boga ekigo ne galubindize ejjoba lyonna lwabogo lyajoza famire yange anzitalabe twamwetegekera dda bamukube ne bufakitule omulabe wadduka alidukira alibeera kabanga lingembuze nnume ngembuze nnume mulenzi anjoze
kambuze muzeyi
ne bagenda mu babe waffe ajja kutambulirako ne mukagale kabano alimerako
gwe mukwano gwa kadaga lwaki wamu enkale jinze n'akomawo
tasobola ani yali akoledde bano n'akomawo bakunyoleko kuni ninyenda kunia ninyenda kushiisha yiwe emirundi leeta omutwe gwawe omukulu wabogo nayenda kunia nayenda kushiisha nayenda kunia nayenda kunia nayenda kushiisha batujoga mumujoga
nade manyi nti ayinza okudda
tasobola kudda
yabakyala alitwala
kadaga nenakyobe yabakutane bamutera whoever has a misfortune of working with these people. Misfortune.
Seriously?
Yes, they killed my career. No, you njokulumira bakonga ajikanga badekonga embuze nume. Abantu bijja kuyika mu kibuga. I'm telling you, yeah, you know. Tujja kumunda bakonga gadduka n'obujozi bwe no bamata no benyama. Nemukoleta karantini mu ggwanga ne mubba. Ebikajjo byabasoga nemukuba amatoka abantu nga muganda we yakuba amatoka tujja kumulabako nga n'obujozi bwe ate natukola ki ateyo omuntu omu twamwetegekera dda intelligence ya Museveni eripuwa omulenzi oyo nattayo they are yishing to grab him like a grasshopper lwabogo the most hated man in
kyekiri mu katabo muzeeyi
bagala mukwatini kwa lubindize Mama, who doesn't have a mother-in-law? Museveni, these people are out of touch. But in Kuburi, Luaboko cannot influence the elections as a speaker. Two, Buyomoye not to teach him. I to tell you, Mugizo, you name. Whoever is not selected by said the other time, Luaboko believed wrongly that I was getting money from Kadaga. The church, Jikwata call. Wani musajja mulenzi gwe Lwabogo gendo jake sabo lyange mu infuna sente beba kulise bene galubindize beba kulise kasasi tayira kunjoga nzitala
sabo lili paso sabo lili paso
na yichingi tukulabu yimule kurasomuki alirinyi mwalabe nagana bakagaba no kumpa sente nino genda I'm playing games you play games with my family I see nakataka akalisa nakalita baba funye sente eza bonamba yine kugunda nayo bwe bali mukba omulenzi oyo bwatalimvaako olumba olulimu taliva kunzi mujja kumunda okongala gikanga baddeko negalubindize ngaakiganga bamubeneka ne batule bayinza ogikuba abeewafu abewafu nze ndi mmando jana kumukuneregako bwana batanvuddeeko ng'ejjooga litalivuddeeko bajja mukba nga n'amuwaga akyali nkuboliti akati nkugamba nti nkusomera akatabo kangana nakawandiise ku Lwabogo nkugamba the soul of Ugenya kingdom kugamba
kazokedda bitaito mzee
tujja kumulabako ngadduka bajja kumuyolera wano noona ajoga abalamuzi oyo eyagamba nti amane fit tubasana tujjo bwatujoga waliki tujja kumulabako ngadduka bajja kutayo omuntu omu bajja kwatayo ku muntu abalemerere olabe bwe badduka olabe joko bwe bafumuka mu mpatanya z'empale tujja kulabako abakaba badduka bafaanana abasadaamu nga badduka abaana ba Museveni bajoga bantu abakobe balese ekizibu mu famire baganda ba Museveni tujja kubalabako nga abako badduka ate mwawasa ggwanga
kirabika yabakozesa
are you married to the state?
No.
Tujja kubalabako nga badduka n'obujozi bwabwe nga badduka
sezalange bw'aba ŋŋambako ate lwaki mba nkola
tomuwa ssente gwe nga baakuwa omusango ne gukusinga kamba kubere ddala gukusingira eddala njagala ejjooga eryo wali kiggwe naffe tuli wasa ego nojoga waliwo kanakalala kawolole kaabwe kajogaabo bajja kusalanga jajjawo mukwateyo omuntu ogwo mujja kukwata omuntu olabe ekyabikola olabe bwe badduka olabe obujuzi ensi bwe yabatamu. When you are stinking you cannot tell that you are stinking. Ensi yabatamu abakoddomi mmwe mujozi nnyo nsi. Ono ajooga balamuzi, ono ajooga bantu, ajooga mata, ajooga nyama, ajooga ki. Obulaba abantu baagala muhoozi. Tujja kubalaba
ng'obapimiddewa atanaba kwesimbawo atanaba kukola ki.
Nze bwe nkuwagira nkugamba. The Baganda have an interesting proverb which says lekemandwa etuule nga kyeyalagula kituukiridde. The proverb asserts that a traditional diviner is respected if what he predicts comes to pass. It is for this same reason that I have earned respect and popularity among Ugandans for, in many cases, whichever I predict comes to pass. Ulikyenda kula tikijja?
Kijja.
Tujja kumulabako ne galubindizi ngadduka. Nono omukaja ogaba na muzinga naye adduka. Ngadduka abantu batise bamanyi nti
you're predicting ambilabako.
Kulabako nga balika gadduka nga badduka. Nono wolere waabwe nga naye adduka. Akubira abalamuzi amasimu. Tujja kumulabako ngadduka mutani wakajiji ngaanuka. Ngadduka. Tebalina reverse. Ekintu kyamuhoozi bakirekere nanyini kyo. Mbagamba. For instance, I predicted the political future of KINO retired Dr. Kizza Besigye, Amama Mbabazi and Henry Tumukunde, even before they actually took on President Yoweri Museveni in the race for power. It is on this basis that I have written this book to officially announce that Odrek Rwabogo will ballot in inverted commas from National Resistance Movement in NRM, his father-in-law's political party, to contest in the forthcoming 2026 presidential elections. Even before I started writing this book, I have been talking about this issue on many of my radio and television talk shows. And as I always conclude my writings, the future will exonerate me. Nabaga nti agenda kubalotinga. Agenda kuva mu kintu kya sezaalawo. Kuba nze muwulira. Ne bwe banaazi mujjukimu. Lady eyogera nti mwe muziggyeko mutegere obukyayi bwe muyina. When you are hated, you don't know that you are hated. You ring judges, you ring what? You think we had this country before you. Mujja kumulabako nga badduka bajja kudduka bajja kukwatayo omuntu omu abalemerera olabe bwe badduka abako bwe badduka babafuuse basadaamu mujja waliwo nono omulebensi waabwe ajooga abantu oba Museveni yakwata mu luli Mukasa n'amuleetayo mujja kumulaba nga adduka ng'abantu bamutwala emisinde muzamba bulya bubuuzi. You cannot put me in prison nemusigalawo. You cannot kill me nemusigalawo. Nja kubalabako nga mudduka n'obujozi bwammwe. Nkugamba. Even before nkugamba. 5 years ago, I published a Uganda book titled Musanje ng'alwana ne mukoddomi Rwembaawo. In English translation, the title of the book tells how King Musanje struggled to save his kingdom from his son-in-law, Rwembaawo. I narrated the story that happened in this fictitious kingdom called Ugenya, and I wrote, Ugenya kingdom was like other kingdoms of the time, and the inhabitants of Ugenya were good people, who were also very hardworking. Unlike other kingdoms that suffered constant succession battles whenever a reigning king died, Ugenya had a properly laid down succession process. This kept Ugenya kingdom more stable than any other kingdom in the region. Ugenya had a strong army because it had fought many battles with its neighbors from Ugatanza kingdom. In addition, Ugenya had a good climate and fertile soils which forced food production and kept the people secure from droughts or famine that constantly ravaged the other kingdoms. This was the source of envy from Ugenya's neighbors. Ugenya was also endowed with natural resources, national parks that preserve the animal species and the birds, as well as saving wildlife from extinction. This was easy because the people of Ugenya had adopted the special species of animals and birds as their totems, and therefore had to jealously protect them. Finally, Ugenya had a big lake from which its people used to catch fish for food and export the surplus to neighboring countries. In my submission, I elaborated that Ugenya had a clear succession process where power rotated within members of the royal family. I also reported that King Musanje was not only the king of Ugenya, but was a celebrated warrior who had led the Ugenya army on many expeditions during his youth. Before Musanje took power, Ugenya was rife with the constant inter-kingdom wars, and the other kingdoms attempted to annex it or install puppet kings. For example, a puppet king called Obuto had taken over the kingdom and almost wiped out members of Ugenya family members. This is the liberation battle that earned the King Musanje popularity among the Ugenya. Musanje almost single-handedly spearheaded the war that removed Obuto from power, restored the kingdom, and the elders later installed him as king. This is why Ugenya has enjoyed the peace and stability under Musanje's leadership. Among the priorities is the importance of a strong army. Like with many younger men, the elders pressurized Musanje to get married, have a family so that he can bring forth a successor. After settling in, Musanje married a beautiful girl called Jalia. But Jalia produced daughters, which annoyed the elders. Musanje was forced to marry a second wife, who produced 2 sets of twins. King Musanje was equally excited, and given his background, he named one of his male twins Mukenzi, one who looks far and takes the enemy from a distance. However, because it took long for Musanje to get a pair of twins and the 2 sons, by the time Musanje came of age, the daughters were ready for marriage. One of the daughters was married to a young man called Rwembao. But Rwembao came at a time when King Musanje had not produced a son. Therefore, Rwembao took advantage of this virtue and played many roles, some of which were a preserve of members of the royal family. Rwembao's conduct attracted the attention of the royal family members and the public. His roles and the proximity to King Musanje became common talk in bars and other public places. King Musanje defended him by saying that since Rwembao had no royal blood, there was no way he could succeed his father-in-law. He also agreed that Rwembao attracted much attention because Prince Mukenzi was still young. However, as the saying goes, where there is smoke, there is fire. Rwembao was on a mission. He created an air of confidence and fear. Many people inside and outside the palace started fearing to mention his name, Rwembao, in the public and resorted to whispers. Rwembao infiltrated all the sectors of the kingdom. He started an organization to teach ostensibly, to teach younger people the objectives of the kingdom and how to protect Ugenya from future enemies. Through his organization, he stressed the need for a modern society where people could be free to choose their leaders in a democratic fashion. On a number of occasions, Musanje was alerted by the elders about the young man's schemes, but he dismissed it as envy, as his son-in-law was mobilizing the youth and imparting modern ideas into society. Whoever stood in the younger man's way would be sacked immediately by Musanje. Luembawo never hesitated to invoke his mother-in-law's name. Over time, he wanted to instill fear in his rivals. To consolidate his influence and defeat his enemies, Luembawo recruited a shrewd young man from his group, which comprised of majority of people from poor families with no roots in the Ugenya kingdom of politics. The notorious group was composed of, among others, Kajiko, Sungula, and Kobushegu, the one who split his poison. Emerging from nowhere, the group dominated the kingdom politics. They had no respect for elders, using their proximity to both Queen Jalia and King Musanje. They replaced all of people who were loyal to Musanje. Sungula and Kobushegu were experts in fabricating stories against Musanje's loyalists in order to force him to succor them. On the other hand, Kajiko was a notorious thief who targeted other people's businesses at the times, the women, their wives. This group isolated the King Musanje from the population, as well as his former loyalists. It is in this isolation that weakened Musanje's administration capacity. On many occasions, his decision depended on fake reports from Sungula and Kobushegu, who were experts in malice. Armed with this influence and power, Luembawo started his plan to become a king. Remember, he had no royal blood and an outsider. Secondly, there was no way the son-in-law would succeed his father-in-law. However, since the group had isolated Musanje from the elders and his former allies in the liberation struggle, these factors blinded Luembawo to harbor successful ambitions in this regard to Uganya's traditions. Among those who Luembawo targeted was Mirandira. Mirandira was a stubborn man, but very clever. You could dismiss him as a fool or a drunkard, but he was King Musanje's Mudingidi, one who plays the music for the king. He also used to crack jokes, and he was a good communicator. Mirandia's speeches were always characterized by laughter. The Luembawo group targeted him because of his proximity to Musanje. At one time, Mirandia was banned from singing at all public functions. He was also banned out of the palace. However, the ban on addressing rallies and singing of public functions was strongly resisted by the Ugenya people. Although some organizers of such public gatherings yielded to pressure from Kajiko, who threatened to withdraw their licenses, others continued to offer Mirandira permission to sing at their function. One of those who opposed Kajiko's directive was Pastor Joseph Serwanja. What was interesting is that functions where Mirandira was permitted to sing were flocked by the people. For example, Serwanja's church attracted many people and became very popular for younger marrying couples. Mirandira's attacks on the Luembawo group also earned him support and respect among the population of Ugenya. Upon realizing that the Luembawo group had weakened Musanje's kingdom, Ugatanza, the neighboring kingdom, started reviving territorial claims on Ugenya kingdom. The constant hostilities between Ugenya and Ugatanza awoke King Musanje from his slumber. He ordered Mukenzi, his son, to start mobilizing for war in case Ugatanga's claim graduated from mere threat to full-scale confrontation. In his report to his father, Mukenzi revealed that the kingdom could not manage a full-scale war with the Ugatanza. Mukenzi explained further that many experienced generals had been sacked by Luembawo. The mood in the population was alarming. The people, including the elders had been effectively isolated from Musanje by Lwembao group. Mukenzi reported that Kajiko had stolen from poor to build his own empire from his stinking ancestry, poverty-stricken ancestry. The group had invaded marketplaces, abattoirs, fisheries, and there were reports of extracting human organs for sale to cannibals. Mukenzi also revealed to Lwembao's succession plan. It was after this briefing that King Musanje ordered Mukenzi to restore order in the Uganda kingdom. Musanje also ordered the immediate arrest of the Lwembao group, and Kajiko and Sungula, Kobusegu, and other members of their group were arrested. Flogo marched through the capital, Kampala, the capital was Kampala of Uganda, to the dreaded Luzinga. The prison was called the Luzinga. Peace, after the arrest of Lwembao and his group, peace prevailed in King Musanje's kingdom, Uganda, and his public ratings rose immediately to unprecedented levels. Musanje ruled for a short time and abdicated to create a vacuum for Prince Mukenzi. This is how King Musanje saved his kingdom from his ambitious son-in-law, Lwembao. Maze, kati maze, kako nkapue. Kaka ndo kapue. Yes, a waffle. I take it.